if you lose it, then people know who it is. Okay, so that you can keep track of it. Then I want you to open up to a new page. Okay, and then title it the section of the section title. What is ecology? That title page up at the top of the page. And I would also, another really good strategy is to, on the bottom right or left hand corner, or at the top right or left hand corner, I would title, I would make page numbers. Okay, so page 1, page 2, and all that kind of thing. And then probably, maybe put a circle around and do something to make it a little fancier. Okay, so that's all that I want you to do. I really, really don't want to have to take this in small little stages and, repeat things again. So I want you to do all that, please, and thank you. Okay, now that you've done that, I asked you to turn to page 63. Now, this is something that we're going to be taking a look at, but only kind of in, like, little background. Now, if this was, if this was a class, maybe I'd take this in consideration, but it's a clubus. So something really, really neat, what kind of makes this particular book unique and very, very special and interesting is that along with the regular content of the chapters, they have what's called a chapter mystery. On the online edition, it's called a case study. So what happens is, and they're different, by the way, for each chapter. So what happens is you read through the mystery. You read what the case of the mystery is. And as you're going through, once you learn all the scientific knowledge and content and all that kind of thing, it asks you questions. It gives clues based off of that. And then you answer those questions. And then when you're done with the whole thing, you solve the mystery by the end of that. So that is something that we're going to do because it's more of a kind of a real life, interesting story tied into what we're going to be doing. Fun little additional thing that's also very important and educational that we're going to tie into this as well. So as we're going through all the information, this mystery, I want you to kind of have it, it's going to be kind of in the background, and I want you to keep it in mind and solve it and think about it and study it as we go along. Okay? So when you look at, on page 62, 63, it says 3, the biosphere, topic 3. And so there's a big idea. There's a big, it's like the big idea that you really need to pay attention to is matter and energy. And you probably already learned what matter is about atoms and covalent bonds and all that kind of thing. So matter and energy, and also independence in nature. So that's what that says. So that's what you're really paying attention to. And then the really big question that we're going to be taking a look at is, how do Earth's living and non-living parts interact and affect the survival of organisms? So that's what we're looking at. How do Earth's living and non-living parts interact and affect survival of organisms? So that's what it's taking a look at. So I don't really have any words to explain that. I think it's going to explain it as we go along. But I'm going to be writing it on actually here. So here I'm going to be making a little additional thing. I'm going to be putting, I'm just going to call it an essential question. And for those who are taking history courses, I know that you're probably all doing it in the academy over there, and you're using TCI, then it asks you, it has essential questions for all the different chapters, for all the different units. So if we're talking about science, particularly biology, then the question is, how do, and I'm going to write this down, Earth's living and non-living parts interact and affect the survival of organisms. This is going to stay though there till we're done with it. And no, we're not going to be going through all of the different sections of this book and all of the different chapters of it. Just what I would think to be the really, really big things. And that is going to be very, very difficult to determine. So anyway, let's take it as it comes. So this is the essential question. This is going to be the question that is going to be answered through this whole chapter. So how do they interact and also affect the survival of organisms? And this is, this isn't just a short little easy answer. It takes a lot of things to answer it. It takes all of these different sections and all of the information in those sections to answer it. Okay, so I'm going to be leaving that up there. Okay, and again, I do not want to have to make you write essays or tests or quizzes, all that kind of thing, because it's a clubus. And we'll do like little fun activities, okay? Especially when we talk about photosynthesis, we might go outside. We'll do really hands-on things, but today is a day we're really reading and then also hearing me talk. Okay, so that's what today really is, and also so actually, you're taking notes not only on what you're reading, but also as I am talking to you. And I'll just be realistic lecturing. And you're doing that as I am lecturing, because I will probably think up and have a lot of extra things to say besides what you're reading in the text. Okay, so that you can add to that. Okay, so here is all the content that we're going to be going through. So today is the definition of ecology and the ecological studying methods. Okay, so what's going to be happening? So it says the activities and what I've done since I don't have the room is to change this day by day. So this is going to change every section. This is going to change every day. This is going to change every chapter. Okay. So this is the board. Okay. Now, I'm really breaking it down, and I could have all of this written out for all the different sections, but I'm not going to do that because I don't have all the room in the world. Okay, so what you're going to be doing is, and I'm just going to tell you this before we look at the chapter mystery here. So, what it has is it has a picture, which is going to go along with the mystery and everything. And then inside, looking at inside, it highlights all the different sections. So the sections are what is ecology, which is what we're going to be talking about for I would say this week. Okay, all of this stuff is going to be learned in 1 week. Okay, and this club is just going to be meeting every other day. Okay, so that means we're going to be accomplishing a lot of stuff every other day. So 1, 2, 3 days. 1, 2, 3 days for this section. Okay, so it'll be broken down into 3 days. So what is ecology? Then we're going to move on to talking about energy producers and consumers. Okay, photosynthesis and chemosynthesis as well. Energy flow in ecosystems. We're going to talk about food chains and food webs, and also ecological pyramids of energy, numbers, and biomass. And then cycles of matter, oxygen cycle, carbon cycle, water cycle, biogeochemical cycles, all that kind of thing. It is going to be kind of, some of this is material that you're not going to be able to, really understand. It's going to be kind of difficult to explain and picture in your head. And a lot of times when I'm reading this, I try to picture it in my mind. Because I feel like when sometimes I read it, I forget how, truly, interesting, and fascinating science and biology specifically, and ecology specifically is. Okay, yeah. So I'll tell you what to look for, how to kind of take notes, and then I want you to figure it out, create your own way of note taking for all of the other things that we're going to be getting into, but I'll help you out with it this time. So the chapter mystery, we're going to actually get to that. Okay, so the chapter mystery, which is changes in the bay. That's what it's called. So this tells a story. This tells a little story in a case study. So it says marine life, aquatic ocean life in Rhode Island's Narragansett Bay is changing. One clue to those changes comes from fishing boat captains who boast about catching bluefish in November, a month after those fish used to head south for winter. Catches of winter flounder, however, are not as plentiful as they once were. Oh, by the way, before I go on, all of you, does everybody have a writing utensil, a pencil and everything? Okay. Wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful. So all of you took the initiative and got that out. Amazing. That saves me mental energy and time as well. So, a month after those fish used to head south for winter. Catches of winter flounder, however, are not so plentiful as they once were. These changes in fish populations coincide with the disappearance of the annual spring increase of plant and animal growth. Researchers working in the bay, meanwhile, report puzzling changes in the activities of bacteria living in mud on the bay floor. What's going on? Farms, towns, and cities around the bay, but direct human influence on the bay has not changed much lately. So why are there so many changes to the bay's plant and animal populations? Could these changes be related to mud-dwelling bacteria. So, as you're reading, look for clues to help you understand the interactions of plants and animals and bacteria and knowing this at bay, then solve the mystery. So the answer is really through all that you're going to be reading and learning about. So I know I was kind of reading through it fast, but as you're going through, we might talk about it a little bit, okay? Actually, here's the thing. I think after we're done learning everything, we might come back to this again, and then we might really get into it and then decipher the clues of it and then solve it all in one thing. Because it will probably just interfere with the real content that we'll be looking at. So if you want to solve it during, then that's fine, but we'll learn all the information and then come back to it. Okay, so that's how it's really going to work. So we'll be flipping back to, say, section 1 by the end of this. Okay, so definitely have that in mind. You can always go back and read through it. Okay, so actually, I just want to, I'll explain it more when we, later on. I just wanted to read that to you just as background. But let's actually cut to the chase to what is ecology. So section 3.1. So how this is set up is it has the chapter, point, and then the section, what is ecology? That's the section title. The key questions of what to look for along the side. So the key questions are, and if you want to write these down, then you can. What is ecology? What are biotic and abiotic factors? What methods are used in ecological studies? So today we're only going to be answering what is ecology. Okay, so today we're going to be getting into this. So ecology definition. Okay, and then ecological study methods. That's all we're going to get into today. So what you're going to be doing is you are going to be you're going to be reading and to think about it, and then study a living planet. What is ecology? What you're going to be doing is you're going to be reading all of this on this page, on page 64, 65. It also has the vocabulary words, or the key terms. Definitely, write those words out and find the definitions for those, and then write those down. And then you don't need to worry about the taking notes strategy. So what you're going to be doing is you're going to be reading Study a Living Planet, then What is Ecology, then you're going to be reading the subsections, the Science of Ecology. It has the vocabulary words, and then the main points in the context in bolded. Vocabulary words. So you're going to be reading Studying a Living Planet, What is Ecology, page 64. Don't worry about the figure down at the bottom, because we're going to be worrying about that another day. The Science of Ecology, Ecology and Economics. That's all you're going to be reading on that page block. Then you're going to be skipping. You're going to be skipping to the very, very end of the section. So you're going to be skipping to, reading page 64, 65 up to levels of organization. Okay. Then you're going to be skipping to page 68. Going to be skipping to page 68. Okay. And then you're going to be reading ecological methods. Just that full page and taking notes on that. Main point, looking at the figure, also looking at the figures as well, because those have some really good information. Observation, experimentation, modeling. So I want you to come up with how to, really take notes in your own way. But I would definitely, as you're going through, be taking notes on answering the key questions as you're going through. Definitely answer, and also definitely jot down the informations for the key terms and find the main ideas and the main points for also the subsections. So science of ecology, ecology and economics, and just write down the basic points that they have to give, and then also doing that for ecological methods, writing down that main idea, and then write down basically what observation, experimentation, modeling is, and how that they'll use as well. Okay, and we'll worry about the little and we might not and we might not do the assessment, I don't know, but you don't need to worry about the assessment. So that's really what I want to make crystal clear to you. Okay, so that's what I want all of you to do right now. Okay, so do that. Okay, so let's see here. Now I'm going to be turning it over now. I'm going to be turning the board over. And I have this. Great. I don't have enough space. So I'm going to have to get rid of this. So I can say. So all of you should be done now with all of those notes. And now we're going to be talking about them. So, alright. So, let me see here. How do I want to structure this? Okay. Trying to think. Here. So, okay. So, let's see here. So, looking at it, trying to figure out this. So, I'm actually going to cut to like the actual real content of it. So, what is ecology? So, we're actually going to be talking about the biosphere, which is we're actually and we'll talk about the biosphere, which is going to get into the levels of ecological organization that we're going to be breaking down and talking about in a couple of days' time. Okay, but we'll just start talking about the biosphere. So, let's see here. So, biosphere. So, consists of all life on Earth and all parts of the Earth where life exists, including land, water, and the atmosphere. So we'll talk about the global systems. So the biosphere is all life on Earth. So all life on Earth and all life parts. So all parts will it exists. So you already know one global system, although I'm going to really walk you through them here another time. Okay, so we know what biosphere. Biosphere is all the life on Earth, like all living things, trees, animals, worms, birds, bugs. So all life on Earth. So anything that is a living thing. And all parts will life exist. So it says on land, in aquatic ecosystems in the water, and in the atmosphere. If you think about birds, or anything that flies. So this is definitely what I would write down for that. Okay, so so here's what I want you to do. Is as I'm going through, if you don't have anything written down already that I'm going to be going through, that's going to be, not what you wrote down, I want you to write it down, but I'm not going to ask you to make another page. Okay, so that's what you're going to be doing. You're going to be adding to, the notes that you've already taken. So, that's what that is. And I would also put, I would also, like, bullet point, the different areas. So land, water, and then the atmosphere, the main general areas. Okay, we'll get into, hydrosphere, atmosphere, geosphere, biosphere, and you already know what those things basically are maybe before this, but we'll be delving into. But at least you know the biosphere, because that's really the most important, because we are talking about the living things. Because that's what this whole biology thing is about. Anything, life science, the study of life, the science of life. The biosphere is the sphere with all the living things and all the different areas. So, and you already know that one, but you need to understand the other three as well, and additionally, particularly as we get into more information. And I'm just going to give away like the big hint to remember this. And the big hint to remember this is prefixes. Prefixes are at the at the beginning parts of words. If I had to be literal in English. So the prefix field for biosphere is bio. And bio means life. Bio means life. That's what, biology. Ology is the study of, bio is life, so the study of life. And also, here's another hint. Biography. Bio, life, ography. A book on somebody's life. A book on somebody's real, actual experience of a life, the story of somebody's life. So that's also something that you can use to remember that. Okay, so there was basically so much that I could say, but it's just so general that I could go talking about all sorts of things. For say on land, there's trees, grass, animals, bugs, birds, but also in the atmosphere. And there was humans as well. On water, there was fish and like sharks, and in the atmosphere, there was birds. Okay? So I hope that you wrote that down. Life and all the parts where it exists. So all the living things. Okay? let's see here. So, every living organism, you know, that's also, it says, from bacteria, living underground in giant trees and rainforests, whales in polar seas, mold spores drifting through the air, and of course, humans, us. So, it also says biosphere extends from 8 kilometers above the surface of Earth, where all of life really is, to 11 kilometers below the surface of the ocean. So it's the middle if you look at the bottom and top of Earth, really. Okay, so now we looked at that. Now we're going to be taking a look at what ecology is. So it says organisms in the biosphere interact with each other and with their surroundings or environment. So the study of those interactions is called ecology. So ecology. So this will be the content page. Ecology, and I'll only leave this up once. I really hope that you wrote this definition. Is the scientific study. I'll just put study, but you can put scientific study. Of interactions. So the study of interactions. Let's see here. Among and between organisms. And physical environment. And as we go through, I'll probably encourage you to write these in your own words, but we're fine for right now. So ecology is the study of the interactions of organisms, between the same organisms, or different organisms, even in the smallest ways. It's so incredibly general that it's hard to kind of understand in a way. And the environment. It sounds simple, but it is, complex. So of organisms between, as I said, same organism, different organism, all organisms, and also the environment as well. That's really what ecology is. Okay, so it also goes on to say that the root of the word